All right, let's talk about it. Is single family better than multifamily? What's the difference between the two? Let's kind of jump into it. Not kind of, we're going to. All right, if you guys don't know already, I'm doing one video a day for the first 100 days of 2025. And let's jump into it. So let's first start off with the benefits of single family. And then I'm going to share the benefits of multifamily. All right, so single family residential. Again, these are going to be uh, like just think single family houses. Okay. Um, some of the benefits here are lower initial costs, right? Like being able to get into it. For example, one of the easiest is, for example, if you bought a house, say you were a veteran, you bought a house 0% down. Sure, you might have some prepaid, some closing costs, but you could get into that house and then after a while move out and keep it as a rental, right? Lower cost in general. There's just uh, overall the second one of the second benefits is there's a lot more easier financing options. Not only is there easier financing options, but there's multiple options you could choose from. Not only on, for example, a primary residence side. So if you bought it as a primary residence and then kept it as a rental afterwards, but also just on the rental side in the first place, if it was just purely an investment from day one, because those financing options are more plentiful, it's easier again for more people to be able to access it, to fund them, and to find an option that fits for your situation and in what you can afford. So another part for that is there are a lot of buyers. So the third benefit here is there's a lot of buyers for a single family. So you've got investors, but you also have homeowners, right? And everyone needs a roof over their head. And so there is a lot of potential buyers for it now. That's going to obviously depend on the specific property. But in general, single family has more basically market demand. The fourth benefit is that there's a level of ease to liquidity because there's more buyers for it. You could potentially sell it and access your cash. Same thing with the financing options. You could access, your equity in it or your cash into it. Another one here is going to be that there is a stronger, typically single families appreciate stronger or better, easier compared to multifamily, very specifically because owner occupants, they drive up that demand. And so it's just something to keep in mind, that appreciation, the value of the property going up over time is stronger than multifamily. Another thing when it comes to single families to keep in mind is that there is a lower level of tenant turnover. Think about it. When someone moves into an apartment complex, it's just a phase of their life. But a lot of times, people, when they're moved into a house, they want to stay there. Sometimes that house may even have a garage. So then people are storing stuff. It's harder to move when you're storing stuff. And so it can be something that people stay in for longer. Another option with that, almost similar, is the fact that it can attract better tenants. In apartments, yes, you do have nicer apartments and whatnot, but overall, with houses, there is a trend that you could, again, yes, I know there's outliers, like there's houses in the hood and there's A class apartments, but generally speaking, there's an argument to be made that tenants for houses are different than tenants for apartments. So it could impact your tenant quality. Another one is lower maintenance cost as well as management cost. So the idea there is that I think it's also, let me also say this, it's easier to manage. It's a lot easier to find people to manage a single family home than, a multifamily property. There's just basically there's less options on the multifamily management side. There's definitely options. It's just not as plentiful as a single family side. And then there's also, and I want to say this mindfully, I do know in the recent years institutions have been buying more single family, but overall you're dealing with a lot more mom and pop, in general investors on the single family side. on the apartment side, it very easily can get into the institution level and the very highly sophisticated investors. And so think of that when it comes to competition. And then another one for single family is that it is more, flexible with your exit strategies. So you can flip it, you can rent it out, you can sell on financing. There's a lot of different types of ways you can rent it out. You can rent it out long term, mid term, short term, rent by the room, all these different things. So these are some of the benefits of single family. Okay. Single family is generally ideal where if you're looking for lower risk, if you're looking for maybe some ease of liquidity because of your ability to, finance or sell it because there's a higher buyer pool, there's also ease of management. And then there's also lower upfront costs. So those are all some things when it comes to single family. Now let's talk about some of the benefits of multifamily. I really want to encourage you to think apartment complex, but you can also think duplex, fourplex. So here's some benefits. It is better economies of scale. So you may have, maybe for example, a fourplex, you can have 4 units, but one roof. Okay. And then with those economies of scale, for example, say you are renovating 4 units and you need to buy 4 sets of appliances. Well, maybe you can get a deal. Same thing with flooring, a deal on the volume purchase versus if you were just doing it for 1 unit. Another benefit with multifamilies is the diversified income stream, right? So let's just keep with the 4 unit. Instead of just having one tenant pay, you've got, to cover the mortgage on that one property, you now have four. And, each different one, they're not really tied to each other so much. So and here's another benefit. It's another way of talking about it is a lower impact to vacancy, a lower risk with vacancy. Now, there's often the favorable financing comes in, especially on the larger deals. So when it comes to financing, keep that in mind. Professional property management can become more cost effective. Like when you have more units, they actually go down on their cost. So that's something, as well to keep in mind. And some people see multifamily as having more control over the value. So in the single family world, the value is tied to, the comps. What 123 Main Street's a 3 bedroom, 2 bath, 1,500 square feet. Well, on the rest of Main Street, what are the 3 bed, 2 baths around that square footage selling for, right? In the last, 3 to 6 months. So that's really the single family valuation style. On the apartment side, you're looking at basically income and expenses. And so you're not really looking at comparables. You're saying what is the performance of this property, so you have more control. Like forget what's going on. Like there is a level, like don't come at me, I know it matters with cap rates and whatnot, but there's a level that you can really control it more because you can push those expenses down, you can drive that income up. So you can really push the value more than you can in a single family. There are some more tax advantages between some more advanced tax strategies. There's some more opportunities for write-offs, things like that when it comes to multifamily. That's another benefit. And then similar, obviously with a single family you can do this, but on the multifamily, there's a lot more opportunities for value add. And then a value add as a multiple. So like in a single family, they may be it may be under rented, not a good tenant in there. So on the management side, that could be an opportunity for value add with the single family as well as actually renovating it. Well, then imagine if you can times that by 15 with a 15 unit building, right? So great opportunities for value add there. On multifamily, to kind of sum it up, it's better for the people who want more control of the value of the property. If you prioritize higher cash flow and scalability, those are some thoughts there. Ultimately, you guys, maybe you're saying, Courtney, I'm stuck. Should I get into single family or multifamily? Both work. You really need to define your goals. Either one works. I would encourage you to get started and get going, and then that is something that it's a more of a personal decision for you. My preference is single family. I believe it is the easiest to find deals. I believe it's the easiest to fund. I believe it's the easiest to manage. The easiest, you got different, exit strategies, but then it's also the easiest to sell. I am ambitiously lazy, my friends. So I really enjoy, to the point that some of the commercial stuff I own, I was just on phone calls earlier today, working more towards getting, ready to sell some of my final remaining commercial properties, where I really do prefer single family. It is my preference, my bread and butter. What I'm, really moving more towards is more single family, less non-single family. But then, some of you may say, hey, Courtney, I prefer multifamily for other reasons. Great. You do you. The biggest thing here is I want you to make an informed decision. Don't just say, oh, I'm going to multifamily. I want to ask you why, right? So today, these are my thoughts on the benefits of single family and the benefits of multifamily. I'm very much team single family. I understand the benefits of multifamily. But at last, my friends, that is today's thoughts. My hat's off to you. Whatever you choose, I am going to I'm going to let you sit with that. Let me know your thoughts. I am This is something that people talk about a lot, but ultimately guys, understand there's benefits on both sides. That's today's video. We're doing one video a day for the first 100 days of 2025. I'll see you guys tomorrow.